My name is Mr. Jeff, and this is my G.R.I.T story. From the time I was in elementary school, I did not like the sound of my voice. I was embarrassed by it and became very self-conscious. I didn't sound like any of the other kids. I had a speech impediment. Looking back, I was always quiet by nature, but now I wonder if some of that was because I didn't want to speak in front of the other kids and didn't want to be made fun of. As I got older, I was forced into public speaking situations in high school and in college. And then as I got involved in youth ministry, it was expected that I would share my faith, teach Bible lessons, and lead music. It was still very stressful for me to do these things, but it did get easier the more that I did it. Several years ago, I was baptized and shared my testimony at the service. Someone told me he wished that he could be as brave as I and could give his testimony in front of other people. If he only knew how uncomfortable it made me feel to do that. But I did do it. More recently, I have continued to serve in youth ministry, including Urban University, where speaking in front of people is just what you do. Sometimes people ask me why I talk funny. I usually just tell them I have an accent. To me, that's less embarrassing than saying I have a speech impediment. So, in some respects, even though I'm not totally comfortable, I have mostly overcome my fears of public speaking. Last year, I took a job at the office in the school. The one thing I was not looking forward to about this job was the possibility of having to make announcements over the loudspeaker. I avoided it for quite a while, but then a few weeks ago, I had to do it. In my opinion, this is much worse than just talking in front of people. To me, the speech impediment seems to get exaggerated over the loudspeaker, the same as for microphones, which, as you probably know, I do not like microphones either. After I made the announcement, 2 students from 2 different classrooms told me that everyone in their classroom was laughing at me because of the way I said things. Talk about going back to elementary school real fast. I brought back a lot of emotions and a lot of my memories. So you can grow, but some things will stick with you your entire life. Will I ever have to do announcements again? Most likely. Am I excited about it? No. Will I do it? Yes, because that's just what is expected. This brings me to about a week ago and an email I received from Miss Cindy. God has allowed me to make strides in public speaking, though I still prefer small groups. I see where God has opened doors for me to share with others, specifically children and youth. Had I not persevered, I would have missed out on so many blessings and so many opportunities. But Miss Cindy's request, this would be too much. This is speaking and being recorded. This is long-term. This is lasting. I feel I could share this story easily, or mostly easily, live in front of a group. But to be recorded where people, and more specifically, I can hear my own voice, my own words, my pronunciation, over and over and over again. This is not something I was looking forward to. This makes me a lot more uncomfortable than most things I can even think of. When I first learned of the assignment, I have to admit I got a little sick to my stomach. I thought of ways I could justify bowing out of this class. And with some of the things that are going in my life right now with my family, many would say that I could easily justify skipping out on this class. But ultimately, that was not an option. One, I believe that God does want me to participate in this class. Not necessarily as this video part, but I guess that's part of it. Also, while Miss Rose always says that no is an acceptable answer, I had already said yes. And while sometimes things do come up that may cause you to change your plans, as scary as this is for me, I couldn't justify this being one of those reasons. And finally, one of our favorite sayings around Urban University is, hard is worth doing. If I'm willing to say it and not willing to do it, then I shouldn't be here. I'd be a phony. That being said, I wish this project could have just been a writing assignment instead of a video project. I've realized that I've buried fears and feelings of inadequacies for decades. I don't do simple things like karaoke, not because I don't think it would be fun, but because of the prevalence of cell phones, and I don't want to be videoed. I'm hoping that somehow God will speak to someone who watches this video. I am doing this because part of leadership is submitting to authority, even when you don't want to. One final thought that came to me as I was working on this project is that God created me, all of me. That includes my voice and the way that I speak. When I feel embarrassed and self-conscious, it's not just about me. I'm speaking poorly of God's creation, one of his children, and that's a very humbling thought.